Put the camera on Jesse Reyez. She looks 20 million out of 10 tonight. Let's get a camera shot of her. Forget these clowns.
Jesse, we have a...
Oh yeah, let's get a shot of her. Look at that, wowzers.
Forget the clowns that I'm here for. Forget that I'm the ambassador to the Toronto Raptors. Instead, I'm going to skip out on Lil Wayne's live Louisiana concert, the man who started my career, and instead show up to this basketball game so I can make goofy faces at DeMar DeRozan, tell everyone to forget about the basketball players I'm here to support, and instead, look at how good this girl looks on camera. And show up here for the retired jersey of the guy whose best words about me were that I told him he threw his armband to me. And at the same time, live on camera, he said he didn't believe me. Imagine picking on little old DeMar DeRozan, a great NBA player who did nothing but stand in the Not Like Us music video to support his friend and Compton, for Drake months later to say if there was ever a DeMar DeRozan jersey put up, he would climb up and take it down. I mean, they said Kendrick was hating. What Kendrick Lamar did to Drake has got to be studied, truly emotionally and physically. Kendrick got his midlife crisis starting early. Drake's negative aura is still stuck in high school. And don't tell me he's over it. Yachty, that he's doing good, that he's just laughing it off. No, the man is a walking zombie, back to life in a Twilight Zone mission to get all his enemies, but just the enemies that are not quite that violent, like DeMar DeRozan. I think Kendrick gave this man a new purpose. But Drake is playing a dangerous game to be picking at civilians from Compton. Well, Drake, you made it back in the news, buddy, not because of good music, but because of childish antics towards DeMar DeRozan. Let's talk about this. DeMar DeRozan, who gave us that bad boy stance in the Not Like Us music video, who is now on the Sacramento Kings, had to fly to Toronto and play his old team from Drake's hometown, the Toronto Raptors. And during the halftime of this game, they officially retired a jersey and raised a jersey to honor the basketball player Vince Carter, whose middle name ironically is Lamar. Vince Carter was also inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame and is the first player to have his jersey retired from the Toronto Raptors. This ceremony was a pivotal moment for Toronto and the basketball team for sure. But guess what? It seems that that's not that important to Drake, because somehow he found a way to perform clownery and turn the situation all back to his resentment towards Kendrick Lamar and the rap battle. But he didn't do it towards Kendrick, who was the one who actually stomped him out. He turned it to a basketball player, DeMar DeRozan, who simply guest appeared for a split second in the Not Like Us music video. Vince Carter gives a shout out to Drake at the retirement jersey ceremony.
Let's give a shout out to this guy right here, Drake. My brother, thank you for being here.
The shout out to Drake starts somewhere, but that appears to be a low-key diss to Drake. This is no shot at Vince Carter, since the man was being emotional, but once he says, let's give a shout out to Drake, the first thing you see is Drake crossing his arms, still mugging, kind of nervous about what the hell Vince Carter is about to say. And sure enough, the shout out, in one sense, doesn't really feel like a shout out.
We've had a couple of conversations, and it's hard to believe that you said, I still don't believe you. But Drake told me that one of the games I threw my armband to him. And how about that? A freaking icon here that I threw my armband to. See, I be knowing.
After shouting out Drake, Vince Carter says, we had a couple of conversations, and Drake said, which I still don't believe, that I threw my armband to him. But how about that? Someone is here I threw my armband to, which I don't even remember. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But shout out to you, Drake, for jogging my memory that I may have liked you at one point or the other. Matter of fact, I don't even know anymore why I brought you up at the jersey retirement ceremony. So let's just cut to the next person I actually am really fond of. I did find it funny how Drake's posture went from scared to mean to you know what's up to nervous to giggles to this small right here to yes, you did throw your armband to me, to you're back on my hit list with the others, Vince. But in all seriousness, Vince, that was hilarious. It seems like Vince tried to find a way to give Drake a shout out during this Toronto ceremony, but didn't have much to work with. Two conversations where Drake reminded him he threw something to Drake, which Vince didn't even seem to believe. Then on to the dissing of DeMar DeRozan. Drake is calling DeMar DeRozan a goof. and starts to kind of poke fun at the basketball players. Because then we see Drake on the mic with the news announcers trying to find any way to bring up DeMar DeRozan's name, to diss him in any sentence he could possibly find.
I don't think people understand that's our first retired number, right?
And it's
that's
a legit
incredible
banner, too. That banner is beautiful. It's absolutely spectacular, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're playing this goof tonight, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Which he clearly seems to be referring to DeMar DeRozan from Compton. Imagine calling DeMar DeRozan a goof on national television for doing nothing but appearing in a music video with Kendrick Lamar, in a music video shoot in Compton, where the man is from, who himself said, Drake's still my man, still my man. None of it changed. At the end of the day, it's music, entertainment, and the man is just a basketball player. I can't say I don't see Drake being upset at people in general, but it's him just not moving on and taking it for what it was. DeMar DeRozan made clear that Kendrick was like family to him, and he's from Compton, so he had to be there. You know, Drake, just say, I ain't mad at you and move on. What are these antics? Then he proceeds to talk about taking DeMar DeRozan's banner down, something that doesn't even exist right now. Not only does he call him a goof, he finds a way to say in the same string of thoughts when not asked about DeMar DeRozan at all, yes, if you ever put up a DeRozan banner, I'd go up there and pull it down myself.
Speaking of national treasure.
Yes, if you ever put a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. That's the answer to your question. Is that what you're going to ask?
No.
I mean, if this isn't goofy, that has to be the saltiest comment ever made in this entire rap battle. Imagine picking on little old DeMar DeRozan, a great NBA player who did nothing but stand in the Not Like Us music video to support his friend and Compton, for Drake months later to say if there was ever a DeMar DeRozan jersey put up, he would climb up and take it down. I mean, they said Kendrick was hating. What do you call that? Imagine fans holding up a DeMar DeRozan banner and Drake climbing up the stands and ripping it out of their hands and stomping on it. I mean, that's exactly what he's essentially describing here live on TV. I did find DeMar DeRozan's response hilarious when asked about what Drake said.
Well, he gonna have a long way to climb to take it down, so tell him good luck.
And those are really very telling sentiments by DeRozan, that everything about this Drake loss is really going to take a long time for him to climb out of, but he's kind of doing it to himself. Then on to Jesse Reyez. Imagine in the same venue, in the same few sentences, dissing DeMar DeRozan in the same venue that is retiring one of the great basketball players, Vince Carter, for the first time ever. Somehow Drake finds a way to thirst after a girl live on camera. He says,
put the camera on Jesse Reyez. She looks 20 million out of 10 tonight. Let's get a camera shot of her. Forget these clowns.
Jesse, we have a...
Oh, yeah. Let's get a shot of her. Look at that. Wowzers. Wowzers. An absolute national treasure right there.
1-0.
Let's get a camera shot at her. Forget these clowns. Look at that, wowzers. An absolute national treasure out there. Forget the clowns that I'm here for. Forget that I'm the ambassador to the Toronto Raptors. Instead, I'm going to skip out on Lil Wayne's live Louisiana concert, the man who started my career, and I happened to sleep with his girl while he was in jail, and instead show up to this basketball game so I can make goofy faces at DeMar DeRozan, stare him down a bit with my fur coat, tell everyone to forget about the basketball players I'm here to support, and instead, look at how good this girl looks on camera. And at the same time, skip out on Lil Wayne's emotional concert where he is crying about not being picked for the Super Bowl over Kendrick Lamar, the same man that destroyed Drake in the rap battle, and show up here for the retired jersey of the guy whose best words about me were that I told him he threw his armband to me. And at the same time, live on camera, he said he didn't believe me during the shout out. How? Jesse Reyez is a Canadian singer-songwriter, but here is Drake again trying to deflect and use women to hype up his ego. Maybe if the guys don't like me, the girls will. Let me shout them out.
Let's get a camera shot of her. Forget these clowns.
Jesse, we have a...
Oh, yeah. Let's get a shot of her. Look at that. Wowzers.
I was getting ready to diss on Drake some more about this Jesse Reyez situation, but lucky for him, she's not 17. She's actually 33. But it was odd how Drake found the moment to speak on how good Jesse Reyez looked, especially given that she's a Canadian singer, while she was with another man. Now, don't get me wrong. I can't say I know who that is. Her life seems very private. Was that a friend? Was it her husband? But boy, would it be telling if she was with her man again. After all, the thirst after Kendrick's Whitney disses in the rap battle. One thing I found strange was that he spent so much time looking at Jesse Reyes' looks, he overlooked the fact that Jesse Reyez earned the prestige of giving a TED Talk last year. Maybe Drake, you could talk about that. I don't know. And the mean mugging to DeMar DeRozan. You know, honestly, I tried to really pick at this situation, but it really looks nothing but pretty petty, childish, and just some high school game. Drake really does go to the basketball game and spend actual time courtside on camera with the goofy outfit on, mean mugging the player DeMar DeRozan during the game, trying to intimidate the man. And the man is not even paying him no mind. Imagine that. If that doesn't sound like hating in some high school games, I don't know what is, because the man seems to be stuck in high school. You know, the Kings did lose against the Toronto Raptors, but I do think DeMar DeRozan's reply to Drake wraps up the sentiments about him. You know, after losing this rap battle, wasting time on petty antics, Drake is really going to have a long way to go to reverse everything. So good luck.